Today we're going to be opening up the May Paletteful Packs box. It seems a little darker than normal. Is it always this color? Let's open it up, see what's inside, and then hopefully make a fun illustration with it. Let's see. Are these inks? Oh, I really want to draw like a squid maid or mer squid. I don't know. What do you got? I don't know. Aqua ink. Oh, that's perfect for mermaids. Mermaids are in the water. Aqua is water. So we have magenta, lemon, cyan, vermilion, carmine red. They're cute little like glass bottles too. Dark brown. I thought it said dark brown for a second. Morty. Black. Oh, there's another one. Mint. Oh, I love mint. But usually you eat them. It says it's a watercolor ink, so I'm curious as to how those work. If they're more like watercolor or if they're more like ink, because those don't necessarily work the same way. You know, some ink you can add water to, and then once it dries, you can't use water to like remove it, whereas watercolor, you can like add water on top and sometimes it, you know, can smudge about. Okay, it looks like we have 2 paint brushes. These are overly packaged. This is a number 6 flat shader brush, and this one is the number 3 round brush. If you're ever having trouble telling the difference, a flat one just looks like someone sat on the end, and a round one is round. Looks like we've got a few pens in here. So it looks like there are 3 fine liners and 1 brush pen. So there's the 0.2, the 0.4, and the 0.8, and then you have a brush pen, which gives you a little bit more variety in one pen. And you can't forget the paper. This is the Strathmore Mixed Media 400 series paper. It's pretty thick. Holy cow. Wonder what the difference between like the 400 series and the 500 series is. Because apparently the 400 series means it's the best. Shake vigorously before use. Oh, and even when they're dry, you can dissolve them with water. So yeah, they work a little bit more like watercolor. All right, let me clean this up and then we can start drawing. So here we have all the art supplies that came in the Premier May Paletteful pack. Now, I've been told that you don't want to like dip your brushes directly into containers like this because you can transfer bacteria into the ink from the brush, and then you never know if one of those times when you open this up you're going to be greeted by a whole new life form. So I'm going to attempt, these don't have like the little squeegees, but I thought I'd attempt to transfer it to this palette I have over here. I don't know about this anymore. Look at me shaking thinking about it. Just go for it. Woo! I did it. Although these are water soluble, so if I get them on the desk, it's going to be very easy to clean. So, oh, that one I spilled. It's alright. It wasn't only one mistake that brought down the Titanic. Like seriously, have you seen a documentary on that thing? Geez, it's amazing it floated in the first place. Okay, well, we're still not at Titanic proportions of mistakes here. Maybe I just got lucky with the mint. Let's see what they meant about ultra vibrant. Like, look, that's so pretty, isn't it? I like that. All right, I'm not the best at that. It's still learning. But you can see in some of these that you can get, you know, dark tones and light tones, which is something I obviously need to practice. And that is the blunt of your art supplies, when you just like give them a little swatch, right? But then of course you can also use them together and mix them and see what happens, which is when things get a little crazy, you know? No, I kind of want to stick with that original idea I had. I'm going to use another art supply that I already own, a pencil. And I'm going to start sketching out some ideas and then throwing color on them. But I really just want to draw like a squid. Maybe, I don't know, that's a good question. Just for the basis of now, without looking at the reference of a squid, I'm pretty sure, you know, they live in the deep, dark depths of the ocean. And they have, like, those tentacles. And I think they have those, like, big, long ones with the funny ends on the bits. I don't know, what does that even mean? And then it can be, like, really dark. Maybe her hair could be made out of ink. That's kind of an interesting idea. But then I can't go with, like, the really dark backdrop. Should I make a blub squid? Okay, I think it's about time to look up a reference of a squid. I obviously don't really know. This looks like a Splatoon character. Or maybe even Adigalia. How many people get that reference? She was my favorite, man. Did you ever play Star Wars Jedi Starfighter? Maybe I want to go more the ink hair route. It would be like really swooshy and maybe like bubbles of the hair. Maybe she's more kind of normal mermaidy shape, or like kind of like the Ursula with like tentacles. The hair would be that solid black, inky color. So I can just kind of see how this will look. Do I want it to be kind of shiny or just solid? That's a good question. I'm kind of afraid the shines make it almost look a little too much like hair, and I want it to be much more inky and liquid. The background can be like a dark color as well. Maybe even add a little blue to it. We could probably add some green too, actually. I forgot to give her arms, but maybe this is more of a color test than a character design. Maybe some green, there we go. A bigger brush would probably do this a little bit more justice. It would be kind of cool if she's like a very light color, like she kind of is translucent and bioluminescent. No, bioluminescent? Bioluminescent? Ooh, that sounds like, that's probably it, isn't it? Ooh, I forgot, those are still transferable even after they dry. Ooh, yep, yeah, that's kind of gross. Glad I have this little thumbnail for me. Do that hair bit last. Got it. Does it look like she's down in the depths of the sea? I think the white really contrasts well with it too. I think the scariest thing about these inks in particular is just how well they seem to like reactivate. Let's see if I can just add just the slightest hint of pink. I think that'll make it look, I don't know if fleshy's the word, but like transparent. Or just give it some color. That way it makes it look even more pale. Whereas when it was just white, it kind of looked like an artistic choice. I'm actually really digging this. I feel like it's a little bit, it veers a little away from like what I usually do. Ooh, she can have pink eyeballs. All right, I think I'm loving this idea. It didn't take too long, really. Find something that I'm happy with. I think it's just the way the colors are working together. And I think that's kind of the way these are meant to be used, is kind of like splotchy and blending them together like that. So that is what I want to do. I did make a mistake by drawing in the pad because now I have to wait for that to dry. But I'm going to just take it out anyway. So the goal is have very dark colors in the background at the bottom, lighter colors in the background at the top, with that darker squid ink hair, and then the lighter body as it goes down into the darker background. I'm going to try and make it even more dramatic though, by like putting the head maybe over here, and the body going even more diagonal-er. And then the hair can like take up even more space. Like that. Done. Head, shoulders. She doesn't have knees or toes. Then we want those tentacles being kind of artistic in some way. Not entirely sure what to do with the arms. I kind of liked it next to her body, but I also kind of want to play around with it a bit. Eyes. Eyes always bring the character together for me. Like, I don't have to finish the rest of the drawing, but if the eyes look alright, I don't know, I find my happy place. Don't like the hair, I'll come back. Need to reevaluate the layout here. Is it giving me everything it could? Let's see. Nope, don't love those arms. Come here, beluga. I should probably have this pointing more at the character, maybe? I don't know, I kind of like the way it was all pointing out, which gave it that negative space that pointed at the character in its own way. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to go about that, but I thought it was more visually pleasing. Yeah, I kind of prefer that. Maybe blub. See, though, if I fill this space with blubfish, it kind of takes away from that negative space I was talking about before. Maybe I should just stick to a normal blubfish. I don't know. What if I hide him down here? So many uncertainties. What if we pull this arm off the screen a little like that? These are things that should iron out in maybe the thumbnail stage. No. I mean, it gives her that sort of floaty look, but it's a lot less regal. Like, it's a little bit more, less disciplined. That's maybe the word I'm looking for. So that's all gonna be black. So I don't need to do any shading there. Let me just play around with these arms a little bit. Okay, that feels a little bit more organic. Like, the other one was like really stiffen up, and now it's kind of like flowing with the breeze a bit more. the water breeze. I think I'll make Blobfish a lot smaller. Does he look happy? I'm trying to make him look happy. I don't want him to look too upset, you know? And I'm gonna cut down the number of tentacles as an artistic choice. So he's like maybe further in the distance. So he'll be colored a little bit more atmospheric. And I'm also going to try taping down this paper, which I should have done before I started drawing. I want to take a little precaution. I'd rather have a weird white border than a super bendy piece of art. I don't know. I've drawn quite a few mermaids. What are we, like halfway? We're a little more than halfway through mermaid now. And I've not got bored of drawing mermaids yet. I'm drawing a mermaid every day for the month of May over on my Instagram if you want to go check that out. But yeah, not bored yet. Some days don't go as well as others, but that doesn't stop me from trying the next day, you know? Okay, up near the top, I'm definitely going to have to erase some pencil because the watercolors are going to be lighter, so you're going to see through them a bit more. That graphite's gonna look kind of bleh, you know? Near the bottom, I'm not as worried about it, but it's probably also still a good idea to refine these lines before adding in the color. All right, I think that irons it out a little bit more. What? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 tentacles. That's not exactly accurate. I'll have to really clean up the pencils inside this before I add the color too because it's going to be so light. There we go. I think I got something closer to accurate, but also looks kind of interesting. And it'll give me that look I'm going for. Not to mention there should be some coming out through the back. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. I think I'm ready to add a little bit of color here. I'm going to use the round brush and go in with just solid black mixed with a little blue and a little bit of water. All right, and then we just color in the areas over here. Starting on the left so that I don't put my hand in it is the goal here. This is tricky. Whew. Trying not to go inside any of the lines because those are going to be a lot lighter, like almost white, so we'll have to be careful here. Remember to paint through the breath. Now I do have to say there is a benefit to the fact that these lift and reactivate so easily. If you accidentally get like a straight line, you can quite easily blend that out. So there's a plus. Maybe add a little green up here. This is when we need to start getting a little lighter because we're getting very close to that ink hair. Do this by adding a little bit more water to the brush, maybe. Oh, I love the way that black to blue to green looks. Oh, I did not figure out what this hand looked like before I started adding color. What was I thinking? Ay, ay, ay. Move down here a little. I'm just like holding my breath. Trying not to mess this up. I really kind of like the way it's headed already. Don't want to take any harsh left turns, you know? Yeah, things make a little bit more sense on this hand. See, that's more what I'm looking for. Let's switch to the flat brush because I have a little bit more ground to cover up here. The round brush also holds water longer, which is really helpful. Alrighty. I'm having a little bit of trouble with blending. I do actually want to layer a little bit over here. This looks a little too gray when I would rather it be more black. It's okay if it's kind of a harsh change from like the really dark to the lighter because then it kind of like gives it that inky look, I think. Alright, now I think it's very important that I let this dry before I touch it anymore. See you then! Alright, so it's dry, and I've actually never seen this before, but it was buckling a little bit when it was wet, but now that it's dry, it feels flat again. I've never seen that before in my life, but I'll take it. I'm just gonna fix up this hand here and finalize any of the bits on the inside of the character. And since I want the character to be very light, we don't want too many of these lines here because they will show through underneath the watercolor. Probably like erase most of it. And then we can use the line. Well, those do bleed a little bit, don't they? Maybe I can just wait for them to dry like a long time and then I won't have to worry about that. But yeah, I'm just going to erase most of the pencil here so we can start with a nice clean layer. Also figure out the way I want things to look. It is looking like I might have to do a final background layer after I get everything figured out here. Because there's some just white spaces here and there. I'm gonna leave a few lines that I think are just necessary. But I think it'll be worth it. Use the liner. Oh, no, I'm too nervous to do that. I don't want it to smudge with the black where I want it to be very light, so. The right decision might be just watercolor over pencil, then use the liner on top of the watercolor once it's dry. So let me just lighten up the face maybe, instead of erasing it completely. Well, I don't know, because that's going to still be very obvious, isn't it? I'm just darkening some lines that I definitely don't want to mess with. And then just lightening all the lines that I do want so that I can go over them with the liners, hopefully, and give it a cleaner look. The hair is obviously going to be solid black, hopefully, and inky. Whereas her body, I wanted it to look kind of translucent. Make sure the brush is clean first. Start up at the top near her face, maybe. Make sure the color's light enough. Start with some nice blushies. Oh, and then I wanted the eyes to be like much brighter red, didn't I? Can't forget that. Now that is kind of how I generally shade a face. But for the rest of the body, I'm kind of going to try and concentrate the color to the center bit. So they look a little bit more maybe bioluminescent. So the outside of her body looks like it's glowing, hopefully. And then this other arm too. What if it has like the rib shape inside that color? That could be kind of cool. So it's almost like you're seeing through her. I'm not sure I'm doing this right. But it does look kind of interesting. And then I can color in this like under bit of the tentacle darker. It is a little bit octopus and a little less squid, but I'm obviously taking some liberties here. And then when that dries, hopefully I can add some of those circle shapes. Let's add some fun shapes. Inspired by my friend Dina. She's been doing some awesome mermaids. I did that collab with her last week. If you missed it, just go check out her channel. You're missing out. Now, some places I'm doing patterns and some places I'm not. Not a lot of consistency, but it is an organic character, so maybe that makes sense. Maybe? I don't know. Grasping at straws. Kind of trying to draw shapes of the skeleton almost. Kind of in a fun, cartoony way. As I can with, like, this brush. Oh, I could have used the dip pen, though. That would have been helpful. Well, now you know. Ooh, that could be really fun, like, give it a skeleton sort of texture here. A skull, that's the word. Give it, like, a skull. Just kind of simple. Just give it the illusion of the skull instead of, like, a completely detailed shape, you know? I wonder if I could lift where the nose is. Do you have faith in my abilities here? Now for Squiddy here in the background, I wonder if I can mix a little bit of blue to the pink. That way he looks like he's a little further in the distance. He's so small, this is really tricky. Kind of like that color, I might add it some other places here. Alright, it's dry up here, so I think I'm gonna go in and with the solid black and try and do the hair. Wish me luck! I don't want to rub too much around where the background is because I don't want to lift any of that. Might need a couple layers of this one. It's looking a little patchy. That's definitely something we can work on. The goal with the hair is to kind of make it look like a liquid and not just weird shaped hair. It's actually turning out a little trickier than I expected. And add another bloop up there. I could probably even go crazy and add a bloop here. And get that nice solid color. Can't decide if I want that shine or not. For the bra, I think I'm gonna go with the ink as well. I only just came up with that idea just now, but I'm gonna go for it and maybe even blotch it around a little bit. Make it look even inkier. Ooh, my hand does not like skinny brushes. I tried to follow the flow of the water, but something went wrong. Not exactly what I pictured, but I didn't sketch it first, so that's my fault. Let's draw some shapes in the illusion of some kind of bone. Or maybe just continue like the spinal cord shape. And then that breaks up into the tentacle shapes or something. I don't know. It's definitely creative. Just add some more texture wherever I can to hopefully add a little bit of interest. I'm not sure how my squid evolved into this idea, but I like it, and it reminds me of something I drew a couple of years ago, actually. Let's draw like a pretend skull over our beloved fish here. It's a little something. Now, I believe the next step is let that dry, and then go in with the line art. Another flash. Woohoo! Okay, now everything is dry. It's finally time to do the line art. Now usually when I do line art I like to turn the paper a lot. Pull away from the art, I think is something someone said once. Ta-da! Okay, piece of paper. It did buckle a little. Not as extreme as it could have, definitely. And now I feel a lot more comfortable doing these eyeballs. So I have a lot more control now. I did just realize I forgot to color the pupils pink, but my old idea was a lot paler, so the pink eyes stood out a little bit more. Whereas this one, there's a lot of pink going on in the face, so I might just color in the pupils black, because that'll be more contrasty, I think. I can even use this to add extra little dots of ink goo stuff. I think this is making a pretty good difference. I'm going to go back to the 0.4 and outline the character. Alright, not the best. Let's do the other hand though. Alright, this illustration does not showcase my abilities to draw hands, but this is like one of the first time I am very happy with the way the colors look. So, it's a trade-off I'm willing to make. And then it's just about outlining everything. That's it. I'm actually really happy with this. I like the layout, I like the colors. The hands and the blobfish were a little bit of a fail. Yeah, so here's my finished illustration. What do you guys think? I really like the colors. I think that's my favorite part. And that is not something I say very often, so I'm very happy about that. Anyway, I do want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me unbox the May Paletteful Premiere Packs box. That's not how you say it. I will have a link in the description if you want to find out more information about Paletteful Packs. And I have to thank Paletteful Packs for sending me this box for free to try out and to share with you guys. I will be passing these art supplies on to one of you. I'll just wrap them up and ship them out. So if you're interested in entering that giveaway, I will have a link in the description as well. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys all next week, and I hope you have a delicious evening full of waffles. Bye!